what I'm getting from this, now you can tell me if I'm wrong, but what I'm getting from these F keys is like, I'm doing the fundamental, but what am I actually getting from it?
I totally agree.
So-
Totally agree. Like sometimes, sometimes I don't even know like what I'm looking for. Like obviously, okay, wave states.
You know, this is your brain, okay? If this CPU thing gets taken up by something like this, even though it can be a small amount, this should all be like, this is your brain in League. And like, you just need to cut out everything that's useless and think about what's actually important. So like, what's actually important here, instead of, oh, I usually use my third smite, XYZ, whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh, grubs are spawning. Am I going to contest it or am I going to pile down? Oh, if they fight grubs here and we lose, am I going to take dragon here or am I going to take his bot side camps? This is what's important. What's up, everyone? Coach Leo here. Quickly before the video begins, I wanted to share a quick announcement that I have joined the Jungle Academy. If you're not sure what it is, basically the Avengers of coaches have come together. You know, other jungle coaches such as Kirei, Perry Jungle, a few others have come together, and basically, you know, I wouldn't be trying to sell you guys on a product that I didn't really think was insane in terms of its value, but essentially quickly wanted to go through some of the things that you can get by joining the Academy. The first thing is obviously a bunch of resources, you know, little exercises, things like that. You also have the VOD library, which all the VODs kind of get uploaded. So if you're ever wondering, oh, like, you know, how do I play Rengar? You know, I'm an Emerald player. I want to know how to play Rengar. You can just go on all of these and, you know, have a look at that. But the most important thing is obviously here in the calendar, which is the group coaching sessions. You're 100% guaranteed to have your VOD reviewed. And as you can see here, it's running daily sessions. Mine is, if you want to come to my sessions on Thursday, you can see here all the different coaches and which days they are coaching and the time zone. And so yeah, if this is something that interests you, link will be in the description below. I hope to see you guys all in the Jungle Academy. Essentially, I have some points. We're mostly going to go through the early game. I kind of helped, we'll talk a little bit about the mini game as well, but the main thing I want to get out of the way is some of the early game things. And to me, the themes in this game, right? And I feel like maybe you could say as well if this is like a common occurrence for you or if not. But right now, I think that we need to just reestablish, this is the biggest one. We need to reestablish like what is important to us in the game, okay? So the first thing is like a lot of your thought processes and you know, a lot of the way you think about the game is I rarely hear you say like what's good for you. Does that make sense? I rarely hear you say like, a very good example was like the very first thing when I'm asking you like, okay, what's the plan? Your answer was, oh, I'm going to pod to bot because playing around bot usually does well, right? And this is such a great example of like something that not only you, but a lot of other players suffer from. And it's like, well, what's actually good for us? What does a good Graves game look like? And what do we need to achieve it? So I'll ask that question to you. What does a good Graves game look like to you?
Oh, a good Graves game is influencing, like I would, when I have successful games, let's say, I'd find ways to like, either first of all get kills.
Okay, good. Get kills. So like gold, like getting kills means like gold and XP. So getting kills, gold / XP. Good. What else? Yeah. It could be anything. It could be like, you could say, oh, I have really good tempo. Or you could say, oh, I have low deaths.
Yeah, really good tempo.
Or I have high damage.
Really good tempo.
Good tempo, okay.
Farming efficiently.
Okay,
so
good.
I can get like as soon as I can to like my items, so I can
Yep. I mean, these are kind of universal, right? These things, but it definitely, you know, it's still worth going over them, right? Every jungler wants kills. Every carry jungler wants to have good tempo. Every jungler wants to have good tempo. It's fine for us to say this because it doesn't matter if it's global. If it's a universal thing, that's still fine. What else?
I'm not sure. High damage, yeah, obviously you're right. Low death.
This is what a good Graves game as well. Like, I'm not saying like you need to be a KDA player, but since Graves is like a damage champion, what else do you offer? Smokescreen, some utility.
Yeah.
So that's all you offer, right? You are an AD carry, you're an attack damage carry. And usually AD carries need to have low deaths. You need to have good tempo. You need to have gold. You need to not be like in a neutral game. So like, for example, if you have 100 CS at 20 minutes and Skarner has 100 CS at 20 minutes, which champion's more useful? Skarner. Skarner is 10 times more useful than you with 100 CS because his abilities and his base damage is, Okay, so good. We've established some themes. There may be more, maybe less. It doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to make is the questions that you were saying and asking in this game relate to what we just talked about. So, for example, you know, I'll use that example again. When you say, I'm going to pod the bot because it usually does well. Playing around my bot usually does well. And I hear this all the time. It's like, oh, I'm going to help. My Caitlyn's my win con, so I'm going to play around bot. No, you are your win con. So we need to do and establish what's important to us. which we're going to go through. And the last theme in the early game is that you can't make correct decisions. If you won, don't give yourself enough time by having the correct info, which is also understanding what's important to you. And also if you put a lot of weight and pressure on every single decision that you make, it'll make you indecisive. Do you feel like you're kind of that? It feels like you're that kind of person.
If I'm indecisive?
It feels like you put a lot of weight on decisions. It feels like just like your personality. I think your personality is, you are playing practice games you put a lot of weight on, I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong. That's just what is coming across, that you're an anxious decision maker.
Well, usually not as much.
Okay, maybe it's just a coaching session thing. Maybe it is. Okay, that's good.
Because usually, like, you've opened my eyes on a few things. On being more aggressive and stuff, and like obviously you say think about myself, so try to farm as much as I can because I am the carry. But usually, like in terms of damage, in terms of presence, I'm not gonna blame everything on the coaching session. Obviously, I was kind of lost a little bit, but
yeah. Sorry, continue.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I try to find an opportunity, especially with Graves, to like dive because like I'm so strong. And two things that I messed up, like I think now thinking about it, like I think the gank early it was good because I got 2 flash, but it kind of messed up my tempo. So
it did. And there was many things that messed up your tempo, which we'll talk about now. Because yeah, like so we'll go through the examples now to give these things I'm saying some more context, and I'll kind of relate them back to that. Okay. So the very first one, the notes that I have. Oh, as well, yeah, what you said as well. This is a mindset thing because I wanted to come back to it, so I noted it down. You said something about when you invade, it fails, so you don't do it anymore. Do you think this is a good or a bad approach to learning?
Well, it's a bad approach, I think.
Yeah, it is a bad approach. I wanted to say, why? Like, what is the reason? Is it because the enemy are not showing? Is it because the enemy have good level 1 champions? Is it because we're not communicating with our team? Right. So I want you to find the why instead of this thing happened. So, and the result was this, so I'm not going to do it anymore. No, sure. Right. If you invade 100 times and it fails 99, 98, 95, sure. Okay. That's a pretty good indication that. But the reason why I'm highlighting this is because so many players do this. So many players draw false conclusions instead of asking why. Oh, right. Enemy jungle perma-gank this game. Okay, next game I'm just going to perma-gank too because it worked for him. So yeah, it's important. It's important to not make kind of false conclusions. Okay, let's go through them. Okay, so pre-game plan, we already talked about that. I want you to say, so in your pre-game plan, I want you to say, I'm pathing to bot because I think it's the place where I'm going to get golden XP. Make sense? Not because, I'm piling towards bot because, oh man, this Caitlyn, I've seen her smurf before. Seems like a pretty good champion right now. Let's go bot. That's not the right way to be consistent.
Honestly, the reason why I padded bot is I didn't say it, but it's because Mundo doesn't have like any gang.
Yeah. You didn't. I could totally understand that, like, you have some internal, thought process. Honestly, I don't really care about like the specifics or the things about it. I'm talking about your mindset mostly.
Okay.
I want it to be like, I'm piling bot because I'm gonna get a kill. Because Bard's gonna portal me in. Because I'm gonna play around bot lane because I have a Bard and I'm gonna, XYZ. This is good for me because I can go. That's the whole point. I'm not gonna pile towards top because because I'm not gonna kill this guy. That's how I want you to think. Okay. So on your first clear, okay, you did have good awareness. The problem is as well, I'm going to relate it back to that. I research, educational. So I'm not going to, when I do this review with you, because your goal is diamond, I'm not going to really sugarcoat anything. Your awareness is good, but I feel like it's kind of fake awareness. And it's like what I'm getting from this. Now you can tell me if I'm wrong, but what I'm getting from these F keys is like, I'm doing the fundamental, but what am I actually getting from it?
I totally agree. Totally agree. Like sometimes sometimes I don't even know like what I'm looking for. Like obviously, okay, wave states, stuff like that. But like,
okay, good. I'm happy that you didn't say no. I'm actually knowing what the state wave set of top is right now, because like there's no reason to F key top right now. This is why I know you're doing this out of like, there's kind of two sides to this. Okay, the habit is good, sure, right. But what is more important, right? It's more important actually that you clear faster rather than waste this F key here,
right?
And we're going to talk about your clear this game. I know the Raptors like kind of, messed up, whatever, but it was still really slow. And
it was really slow.
Maybe we're going to talk about that at the end. But basically, so I would always prioritize clear speed, okay? Prioritize your clear speed. So I would rather you have on a champion like Graves, 10 out of 10 clear speed and like 1 out of 10 awareness. Okay, obviously you can have like, this is like the ratio I would prefer you have on a champion like Graves. Whereas like as Lee Sin, I wouldn't mind you losing 10 seconds so your awareness was a bit higher. Because as Graves, you're not going to look to really gank. Okay.
Yeah, my clear. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I realized like I was finishing my no, I was starting my red and crab was already up. Like,
Yeah,
what?
we're not gonna have
What just
time.
happened?
Yeah, I'm not gonna have time to go through the clear with you. I'm gonna link you a clear instead, so you can just practice it. Your clear should be you're finishing your full clear like way before 3:30 with the smite.
Yeah, but that's what usually it is. Like,
Okay, good. Okay, that's fine then. So yeah, this could very well be, hey, I'm in a coaching session. Let me do the fundamentals, and I'm gonna show this coach that I have F keys because that's what you're supposed to do. Right? But I'm telling you, this is like the wrong way to approach it. You have to know why you're doing something. So the way I like to think about camera panning and stuff is usually you get a prompt. Okay, this is your prompt here. So two icons clashing. This is a prompt to move your camera. People losing health rapidly. This is a prompt to move your camera.
Okay.
While you're walking between camps, you can have spare time to actually just pan, right? Because you don't. So like these pans are actually not bad here at top. Because maybe this is a different matchup and maybe you go top right now because it's like guaranteed kill, right? So those pans are not bad. But here, when you're going between camps, this is a perfect time where you should just look at lanes.
You're right.
Small things in your clear, like queuing here is why your clear was like very slow. Okay, so we have a little bit of time left. So I'm going to kind of speed run the last few things and I'm going to relate them real quick. So quickly, 410 ward position needs to be a little bit deeper. So yeah, look at your clear, 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was so slow.
Yeah. So it's just tempo. We need, you know, when I come back to that question, what's important for us? It's tempo. Like you have to look at this game and be like, wow, my clear was terrible. Even if I lost this game and I learned just this one thing, that's fine. Okay, ward position here needs to be deeper. Okay.
But I thought because I was so late that he was gonna do crabs and get to my grump.
Yeah. So what you should do is walk to this bush and then just ward over the wall while you're basing. This time is not going to be the difference between him taking this.
Okay.
And obviously, yeah, you know what I'm going to say next, which is about the bot gank.
Oh yeah, I should have done.
Simply put, it's not your spare tempo right now. And if you're just going to gank this to get their sums, it's not worth it. That's simply put. Right. So the correct play for you here would to be in basing in this bush, warding over this wall, and then seeing, okay, is it good or not? Yeah, you could still think maybe we can kill even if they have sums, but in this case, you saw the punish, you needed to base straight away. You didn't actually have spare tempo this game because you just cleared so slow. That's the reality of it. I noted this down because you said something at 540, which kind of had me just in shock because I had never heard something like this before. Okay. And it's also about the reason why I say we need to reestablish. Okay. We need to reestablish what's important because you said here
the smite thing, right?
Usually use third smite, but like that just like your mental stack as a CPU. Okay. If you're using your, you know, this is your brain. Okay. If this CPU thing gets taken up by something like this, even though it can be a small amount, this should all be like, this is your brain in League. And like, you just need to cut out everything that's useless and think about what's actually important. So like what's actually important here, instead of, oh, I usually use my third smite, XYZ, whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh, grubs are spawning. Am I going to contest it or am I going to pile down? Oh, if they fight grubs here and we lose, am I going to take dragon here? Or am I going to take his bot side camps? This is what's important for your CPU, not, oh, third smite, this, that, whatever. But yeah, here.
But you know what? I'm happy I asked because now it's out of my head.
Good. Yeah.
Now that I know.
That's good. And I think here, just in terms of, again, what's important to us is that you take these two camps here and you look to punish Jhin, no flash.
Okay.
Right? What gives you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like 1, 2, 3. Perfect. That's it. I'm not, you know, we tried to do the dragon. Dragons are very hard to do because it's 6 minutes in the game and you have 2 long swords. You got to think what's best for you. Even if you got this dragon, it would still be bad because what you could have got instead is a Jhin kill and 2 bot side camps. So imagine you did this. Imagine you ran in here. Imagine if you weren't thinking about third smite and you were thinking, oh, his bot side camps are up. 1, 2. Oh, Jhin has no flash. 3. Oh, 4, 5 base, and this is back up.
Yeah, you're right.
Just like you're just a different game. It's just a different game for you completely. Yeah. And the last thing, trying to save him under 8:30, right? Just this whole, like you did throughout this game have this, like, I'm a helper, but your identity as Graves is not that, right? You're not, even if you were playing Jarvan here, obviously this would still be wrong, but it would be like somewhat more acceptable. You are playing Graves. So these little resets and things that happen like this is really bad because it all stacks up. So the mentality of, you know, I'm going to help my team here, even later on in the game when, like, I'm telling you, right? I'm telling you, you don't need to be at dragon 20 seconds before it spawns. You can farm and then get here. So I want you to remember the situations like this, right? Remember this situation. You're saying, oh, don't I need to go to dragon? No, you're playing Graves. You're not the guy that's like starting the fight. You're not the guy that's like needing to stack on a bush for your team. This is the perfect, remember the sequence. Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. This is the perfect sequence for you. 2 camps, mid wave, get to the fight late or get to the fight like as it's happening. This is exactly what you want.
I would never never do that. I would never do
Yeah.
that. And
You need to be more greedy.
because like you said, like those videos, they tell me like, I'll be there 30 seconds before.
I'm telling
Maybe
you,
with some other times.
yeah, with some other champs. So like if you were playing, well, the thing about other champs, right, is that a Jarvan or a Rammus can't farm this, and mid-wave the same speed that Graves can. This is where your strength is to do all this, right? As Rammus, you're getting like one camp here, and then you're having to go here to be on time for this fight.
Okay.
So that's the difference. Yeah, like the difference between, I mean, I'm not gonna say YouTube content. I think there's a lot of good educational YouTube content, but it's like the fundamentals don't win you the game. They just put you in a position to be like having an impactful play or something. That's the point of them. It doesn't just win you the game by F-keying, for example. Like you F-keying doesn't win you the game. You F-keying maybe gets you information that lets you decide whether a gank is good or bad.
Gotcha.
But it's not something that you can just autopilot. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Cool.